Danny, from the YouTube channel Dan's Van Life, finally hit the open road following months of recovering from surgery and completely overhauling his van. He rolled past the swollen, flooded Mississippi River with his dog Cassie by his side, setting his sights on a new beginning out in Colorado.
I finished packing up and organizing for the road trip heading west. After everything had been loaded into the van and the tank of bleach water had been emptied, the last thing to do was fill the water tank with fresh water and then hit the road a whole quarter-mile down the road to fill up the fuel tank with some fuel. And once the van was full of gas, we made our way out of town, stopping at the overlook to take one more look at the river and get a couple pictures of the van before we head all the way west. But we have to take the opportunity to look at the flooded Mississippi one more time before we hit the road heading all the way west. The river has been steadily rising for the past couple weeks to getting the van ready, and it's been pretty crazy watching the water level rise so high that local businesses and buildings are starting to slightly go underwater. So a couple more pictures and then we're off for our travels. The largest reason that most people choose to live in a camper is to be able to travel, and while I'm excited to put some miles on, more than anything, I'm just looking forward to being landed in Colorado. Traveling's really fun, but it also can be really hectic and expensive, especially with this being the first road trip in a long time. Cassie the dog was pretty...
But something felt off right from the beginning. After stopping for a routine oil change, he came back to discover mysterious boot prints tracked through his personal living space and clear signs that someone had been messing with a locked drawer.
Especially with the solar panels on top. The good news is the van's going to fit inside the shop. The bad news is it's going to be like 2 hours until the van can get in for an oil change. So... we're relaxing. It was very well needed. Cassie's been anxious as hell this entire drive, so it was good to be able to let her actually calm down for a minute. So we're just relaxing until a bay opens up. And once a bay opens up, I think Cassie and I are going to look to see if there's anything to do around here. We're going to go on a little walk, let her burn some energy, and then hopefully there's like a dog store around. We're in like a really nice like shopping center, so I kind of assume that there's like a Petco or something around here. I'd really like to be able to take Cassie in there and have her do something that's fun. So that's the plan. I took Cassie to the doggy mall. We walked around Petco, and I also got myself some Mexican food for the road. Just got the van back after getting the oil changed. Went got a bite to eat for me, and we went to the Petco. Got her a doggy treat while we were there. I did find one drawer unlocked that I left locked in the van, and there was some boot prints in the back of the van, like the guys were messing around inside the van. Kind of weird. There's no reason to come back in the living space for any reason at all doing an oil change. I don't see anything missing, and I don't care. They're probably just checking it out. I do have the dash cam plugged in. It looks like maybe it was recording the whole time, so hopefully I can get that footage and put it in right now. There might be some really funny responses about the racing sim being in the passenger seat, but I'm going to eat this burrito, and then we're going to hit the road. It's always fun eating at Mexican restaurants.
As darkness crept across Nebraska, he parked up in an isolated spot beside a pond to camp for the night. The moment he stepped out with Cassie, his flashlight beam landed on a set of unblinking eyes staring back at him from the darkness of the surrounding brush.
Stay. Cassie, stay. Come here. Let's turn the lights on it. Alright, go potty. I swear I just saw a set of eyes over there. I swear I just saw a reflection. Oh man. We're not gonna get spooked. We're not gonna get spooked. We just got landed at our spot for the night. It was a little spot that I found on iOverlander. Cassie's a little bit nervous since I got some food out and it's our first night on the road. I was really hoping to make it into Colorado, but we came up pretty short. I think I'm like 2.5 hours or something, probably about 2 hours from the border, 2.5 hours from where I was trying to get to. Cassie's been a great dog the entire drive, isn't that right, Cassie? She was really nervous when we started the trip, but I'm just gonna eat a little bit of my leftovers before we go to bed here.
The following day brought a completely different kind of dread. After taking a walk, Danny peeled 5 ticks off his own body before discovering that Cassie was absolutely covered in the creatures.
And when I looked closer, I found another tick on me, and another, and I pulled about 5 off of me before it hit me. How many are on Cassie? So as I was looking Cassie over for more ticks, I realized that the french fries were still in the oven, and I absolutely fried them. So it was just really seeming like one of those days. So Cassie gets a waterless bath, just spraying her over with the anti-tick and flea spray that I have, and then I get a nice sink shower. And for some reason I didn't use my brand new water heater. It was just all a little too much to take in, so I took a cold shower, and that really was a nice humbling moment. Second day back on the road and just covered in ticks. I jinxed myself earlier that day talking to another van liver, Tori Delury, saying something along the lines of, you know, maybe Nebraska isn't so bad, and that came around to bite me in the ass so much harder than I could ever thought. Just when I thought my night couldn't get any worse, I decided to try to go to sleep with a tick-filled bed, and as I'm rolling around in the bed bugs trying to fall asleep, I finally start to doze off and I hear something strange behind the van. What's going on, bud? So I just woke up to the noise of something rutting around outside the van. I don't know if it was somebody fucking with the back door handle or if it was just somebody bumping against the van. But we are parked somewhere that there should be no one near the van. And then I heard a loud belch. I got up and...
He attempted to get some rest in what he described as a tick-infested bed, running on empty and deeply unsettled. That's when things escalated. The quiet of that isolated parking area was broken by the unmistakable thud of someone making contact with the van, followed by a firm hand wrenching at the rear door handle.
Tugging on the door handle, and I am out in the middle of nowhere. And by this point in the day, I'm just irritated that my night's sleep is now going to be completely ruined, not only by the bed bugs and ticks, but by some Jimmy trying to break into the van. Normal person probably would have got up and drove to a new parking spot at that time, but I just truly had not one fuck left to give. So we tried to go back to sleep. I cannot sleep. Cassie's being antsy. I swear to God, there's bugs in the bed. I feel like they're everywhere. It's crazy. The dog's gonna act like she needs to go outside to go to the bathroom, but we can't go out there because there's fucking ticks everywhere. Come on, Cass. Good girl. What you want tonight? So the next morning I wake up and find more ticks on Cassie, so we go straight to the vet to get her taken care of and make sure everything is safe, because ticks can be kind of serious. Which I was bummed to spend a couple $100 at the vet, but little do I know I'm going to be spending 10 times that in a couple days down the road when Cassie has to stay overnight at the vet for a couple of nights. Be sure to check out her next video to see what happens there. Some cool Midwest art. It's a clock. What a night, man. From the ticks all over to the fucking someone... I gotta shave this off, one sec.
He sat motionless in the darkness, gripping a self-defense tool, the reality sinking in that his home on wheels was no longer the refuge he thought it was.
I tried to leave the mustache because I thought it'd look cool. With what seems like an absolute nightmare of a second night in the van, and the universe is trying to make us fail at every point that it can, me and Cassie stay positive and be happy that the van is running well and that we still have the opportunity to get on the road and head to Colorado, and that's just what we do. Yeah, from getting ticks all over to then having somebody fiddle fucking with the back door and now a $100 vet visit, we're off to a little bit of a rough start. I doubt anyone watched to this far, but if you did, comment dog in the comments so I know that you watched all the way to the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching my first ever van life vlog video, if that's what you'll call it. Subscribe if you want to see more content from Dan and Cassie. I have a bunch of footage backlogged from the rest of our trip getting to Colorado, and then we've been in Colorado for probably about a week now. We've made a fox friend, we had a winter storm, we've had a bunch of good stuff happen, so hit the subscribe if you guys want to.
6:45 p.m. The light is dying. The field stretches out, empty and overgrown. Marlo figures she has just enough daylight left to scout the area, pitch her tent, and settle in for the night. But time has a funny habit of collapsing on you when you're out somewhere you probably have no business being. Let's get into it. Tonight's fourth video comes from the channel Explore With Me, Marlo C. It's a Massachusetts-based outdoor adventure channel built around solo camping, hiking, and digging into forgotten history. Marlo brings her audience along on honest, unfiltered trips through the wilderness, equal parts quiet nature appreciation, and the kind of raw unpredictability that comes with going it alone. She pitches the tent. Here's what unfolded. September 28th, 2025, the Berkshires, Massachusetts, United States.
Just heard some running through the tree line right there. Look at this. This is amazing. But yeah, it looks like it drops off over there. You can see a mountain in the background there.
9:30 p.m., complete darkness, open farmland, Marlo is sitting by the fire with a mug of hot chocolate when something stops her cold. Sudden, close, and completely out of place. She cuts off mid-thought, doesn't bother finishing her sentence, and immediately heads back toward the edge of camp, drink still clutched in her hand. That campfire doesn't look nearly big enough anymore.
Tree line in the woods. Because that's what I want to hear when I'm at camp, right? That's what I want to hear. If there's a logical explanation, I'm sure there is. I'm gonna make a knocking noise and see if anything knocks back. If anything does, we're out of here. Is basically what's gonna happen. Hold on. Let me see if I can find something to make a knocking noise. Piece of wood. I don't have a small enough one.
She props the camera up and lets it record, just to capture whatever's out there. And the sounds keep coming, and they get stranger. This isn't random noise, not a branch giving way. These are intentional, repeating impacts, wood on wood, rhythmic and deliberate, resonating from somewhere deep inside the tree line. Whatever is out there is communicating in a pattern.
I could have sworn I heard something. Did you? Are you hearing that at all? Like my heart's racing now because it sounded like it sounded like it sounded like something like sliding by a tree, like brushing by it, like when you're walking by it, it makes that sliding noise. Alright, just normal noises in the woods, that's all. I know you can't see anything, I'm sorry, I don't want to turn the light on. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to bed.
Now she's inside the tent. Lights out, cameras still going, low rustling and unsettling vocalizations move around just beyond the edge of camp. Sounds that have nothing to do with wind, nothing to do with any recognizable animal, and nothing remotely close to what she signed up for when she drove out here. Marlo whispers goodnight to the lens and lies there waiting. She makes it to sunrise. Misty field, gear already packed, breakfast eaten in near silence. She's upfront about it. The night shook her, but she held her ground and didn't bolt, which is either genuinely impressive or a spectacular failure of self-preservation instinct. Maybe a bit of both. 9:30 p.m. Something just knocked back at her from the tree line. Do you hold your position? Do you sprint for the car? Or do you toss another log on the fire like she did? There's no correct move here, but there are definitely some very wrong ones. Personally though, I would have been long gone the second that first knock came back. These Dark Adventures is a channel built entirely around venturing into the eerie, the terrifying, and the unexplained. Like so many others drawn to this kind of work, she's spent plenty of nights out in the field where absolutely nothing happens. Because honestly, that's just the nature of paranormal investigating. But on this particular occasion, she may have caught something on film without ever knowing it was there.
This video was almost scrapped. I was here from about 6 o'clock to about 11:30. I went from this location to the roundabout location and back. And this is where I just kept recording and had no clue what was about to happen. I went home and Sam wanted to see the footage because she loved my neighbor Sam, my friend. She wanted to see if she could see anything because I told her it was a dud video. And I had no clue because I hadn't looked at the footage yet. I had just recorded and not seen anything. I just had not heard much but some clickies and some stick breaks and thought it was maybe...
Dee had come back to an abandoned farm she'd been visiting over the previous few weeks, a location where strange things had already been occurring. She got her gear running and documented everything as a precaution in case anything out of the ordinary decided to show itself. And while she sat there completely unaware, her camera was quietly recording something she hadn't noticed at all.
What was that? Oh, God, guys. It's quiet. It is a little warmer than last time. Last night was cold. Nothing happened either. I've been coming out here and maybe 2-3 times out of 5 or 6 I'll hear and catch stuff.
Now I already know some of you are ready to say it's just a deer or a raccoon or nothing at all, but hold that thought because you need to see what comes next. There was definitely something out there moving around. Just think about that for a second. Being on a paranormal investigation and having something get that close to you without you ever sensing it.
See? What is that? It sounds like cracking, not stick cracking, like bones cracking. What is that down at the end? Look like something white way down at the way at the end where the entrance goes left and right. That's what it looks like up there, but I can't tell what that is, and I don't want to go look. It might be grass. What's that? That sounds like clicking. No. Oh, clicking. I can't make it down there. I'm gonna have to.
As the night went on, Dee pushed further into the property to see what else she could find. And that's the point where things took a genuinely unsettling turn.
Nah, this is uphill. What was that? Fellas, I'm really trying to give you guys videos out here, but this place terrifies me to the core. But I'm fascinated with it at the same time. I'm hearing noises, dude. And I don't know if it's clicking. I can't hear it. It's like a low.
Whatever had been moving through those trees was now right beside her vehicle. Let that sink in. This thing had positioned itself between her and her only way out. The car was her sole means of escape, and something was standing right there waiting. That's the kind of moment where you realize things have gone very wrong.
Oh, it's by my car. Oh my God, dude. Why is my thing going faint? Stop. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna go. What is that? Stop, okay. Calm down. All right, I'm fine. Is that clicking? It sounds like clicking, but it's so low. I don't want to be far away from my car. Ah! Hello. Hi. Okay. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I feel like I'm being surrounded.
No matter how carefully she looked, she couldn't figure out where exactly the sounds were originating from. They seemed to shift around her, almost as if something was deliberately circling her position. And when she finally tried to leave, those sounds trailed her the entire way back to the car. So what do you think she actually came across that night? Was it a crawler, like so many of her viewers have suggested? Could there have been more than one creature working in coordination to cut her off? Or is there a straightforward explanation that we're all overlooking? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. This clip comes from Cabin Life, a YouTube channel operated by an older gentleman who documents outdoor excursions and life in the wild. Back in November 2025, he posted a video in which he set out to spend a few days deep in the forest. The plan was straightforward: kick back by the lake, soak up the scenery, enjoy the stillness, and have some time completely to himself out in nature. Everything starts out looking perfectly serene. The lake sits glassy and undisturbed, the trees barely move, and he's settled into his chair alongside the water. But then an unexpected sound shatters that calm. Initially, the noises seem easy enough to explain away: something rustling in the undergrowth, a creature passing through, the usual sounds a forest makes at night. Then he picks up on something else entirely, what sounds like a voice, and this one doesn't register as any animal. It sounds near, uncomfortably near. As the disturbances keep coming, you can read the tension written all over his face. He's on edge, wide-eyed, and genuinely uncertain about what's lurking around him. It has the feeling of something, or someone, steadily closing the distance. So he stands up and begins moving through the area, trying to identify the source.
Hello?
That lingering, uneasy quiet is exactly what makes this footage so hard to shake. Because if somebody was deliberately out there in those trees making those sounds, they were specifically targeting a lone elderly man in the middle of nowhere for absolutely no clear reason. When the audio is later run against known wildlife from that region, nothing comes close to matching what he actually heard. So even after reviewing the recording, there's no clean answer. It might have been an animal, it might have been someone concealed somewhere along that shoreline, but the way that voice cuts through the dark gives the whole encounter a deeply wrong feeling. Fortunately, whatever was out there never moved in close enough to cause him harm. Still, had that sound crept just a little bit closer, a peaceful lakeside rest could have turned into something far more frightening. On February 26th, 2021, the YouTube channel Abandoned World Explorer posted footage shot in Dark Bluff, Maryland, documenting a solo trip into the woods guided by the Randonautica app, with no idea what waited for him out there.
Could be, I don't know, because there's like an assaulting office up here as well, but it actually looks like it's taking us into the woods. It is taking us into the woods. It's literally saying 1 minute and literally the prison is over there. So it could even be the prison. If it is, it's a live prison. I don't fancy getting arrested, man. You don't fancy getting arrested. Obviously, bear in mind, people, like, you never know what you're coming into on these apps. I don't recommend, as I said, anyone even like trying anything like this.
The biting cold and near total silence made every tiny noise feel amplified, and even just walking through the area carried a creeping sense that unseen eyes were fixed on him from somewhere in the distance.
It says we've arrived, but it's not. It's still, we're here.
You have arrived.
So it's saying we've arrived, we're literally here, but it's still showing. Oh, I don't know. Yes, the arrow is saying we are. Right, so we just need to find a way over there. Oh, there's a little foot. Right, okay. It's really weird because it actually took us to these woods a while ago. 5-6 months ago. So there's literally footprints in and out of there, but it is a public. Guys and girls, it's absolutely freezing here as well. I'm not even joking.
Pushing deeper in, the trail seemed to dissolve around them, and there was a growing sensation of being quietly steered towards somewhere they had no business being. Before long,
The thing with these maps, so there's the thing with these maps, is literally like, what should we do? Just walk over and down, or do we go straight down? I can't even see nothing, but I don't really want to keep this away from too much, because honestly these really freak me out. So I can whack the light right up. But literally just oh, it's freezing. You're not cold? As you're hearing Gook's, mine's shocking.
subtle signs began pointing to another presence nearby. Nothing visible, no one in plain sight, just that unmistakable gut feeling that he wasn't the only one out there.
It's like a makeshift. Check out the heated jacket, and right now it's like
That sounds too. Well, there's someone there, doesn't it? It's all quiet, and that really.
just want to say, you know, don't recommend like. There's a lot of doggy paws as well, footprints. Still showing me like nearly have arrived, but I'm not even joking. I'm literally shitting a brick.
Things escalated when a dark silhouette appeared between the trees further ahead, completely motionless, just standing there and staring in his direction.
So it's literally saying we're coming to don't like having bright lights sometimes. We've arrived and it's like a tent or something. someone over there. There is.
That was the moment any doubt disappeared. Someone was absolutely out there, and based on how still they stood, they had been tracking his movements for a while already.
Is there people there? Hello? Is that chainsaw? Ain't chainsaw.
Then something shifted in the darkness without warning, quick and jarring, as though a person was simultaneously trying to conceal themselves and close the gap between them. The dread began to spiral as it dawned on him that he had already been encircled without ever realizing it.
That ain't a chainsaw, Dan. Huh? That's not a chainsaw. Hey? Oh, Dan, run! Fuck leg! Where the fuck were they? Hey, where are you, man? I'm not the door. Mate, we were standing in there. We just literally walked around the whole lot.
Looking back on it later, he came to understand it wasn't just one individual. There were multiple people threading silently through the trees all around him. What pushed the fear even further was the sound that followed, something mechanical rumbling to life somewhere out in the dark, starting low and steadily climbing in volume. They bolted.
There's 2 or 3 guys in the woods. Hello?
They're there, Dave. Get them over, get them over.
Where? They're right behind us, isn't it?
Twigs in there. He was chopping something, wasn't he?
Guys and girls, literally, we've just got away so quick. We've made a phone call to the police. The police are going to go there now. They told us to stay away. I don't know. It was so hard to see anything, but I didn't see the tent, but Dan see the tent 100%. Like, and he kept saying there's a tent there. So yeah, and hopefully you'll be able to see it on this end of this footage where we put it back on the PC. But yeah, and they wanted us out, so they were trying to scare us. I don't know, and it worked. They didn't come out the woods though. But yeah, I don't know. I just recommend that. Honestly, no one play with that app. What do you think of it, honestly?
It's scary.
He was actually quite chilled about it, and then he was like, bro, we better go, they're starting chainsaw out. And I was like, is that a chainsaw? And I'm standing around, but this is what I do wrong, and this is why I broke my knee in France, because I hang around. So many times I just, you know, like I could have run out there when we said it sounded like a chainsaw, and that was it, end of, and then nothing, and it's kind of convincing you guys that they were starting something up. It definitely started in the end, and we got out of there super quick. Like, we're at what, 2 mile away already now.
And didn't look back, tearing out of those woods as fast as their legs would carry them, convinced that even a brief hesitation would have cost them something. Long after reaching safety, the unease refused to lift, because there was simply no way to explain who those figures were or what they were doing hidden out there.
The road as well, so they don't actually get it, and I don't know if I ever want to do this app again. I literally feel that way inclined. I don't want to do this app again. But yeah, we're going to call it. This is it. We're not doing no more tonight. No way. Guys, I can't even explain how I feel right now. I have a child. My family. I could have potentially put him in danger. Something could have happened to me tonight, or my friend. Like, he's just literally lost his dad. He didn't need this. and I even parked near my house. I've parked around the road. I just literally can't get over it. I literally just dropped him off and I can't get over it, and he's just replying back to me now, like, I don't know.
When it was all over, one thought refused to leave his mind. Certain places aren't truly deserted. They only appear that way right up until the moment you realize the truth.
Like, he's literally just replying to me now. And we're going to find out what he's going to say, but I don't know what to think about this this whole app. As I said, I always feel like there's two sides to it, and I feel like that, you know, they could have just been camping there and we scared them, but it's the noises, and it's like my friend.
June 9th, 1912, Villisca, Iowa. 8 people were murdered in their beds with an axe, 6 of them children. The case was never closed. On March 28th, 2021, the THRLL crew made a 2-hour drive from Des Moines to spend the night inside the very house where it all took place. The building has no electricity, and they already knew that walking in.
June 9th, 1912. Town had a church service which got over about 10 p.m. and this was like a into Bible school event where the kids would sing songs. Everybody in town's at this thing. They come home about 10 p.m. with Ina and Lena Stillinger. As a family of 6 with 2 overnight guests, friends with their daughter. They had a sleepover. Next day, the neighbor Mary Peckham's knocking at the door because at like 4 a.m. she's like, something's not right. By 8:30, she gets a relative to use his key on the main door in here. And it was overcast that morning, kind of rainy. So he lights a match and just walks into this bedroom here. And this is where Ina and Lena were found. Oh. That was Catherine's room, but she gave it up to her friends. So this dude just runs out. Gets the authorities, which was the town constable, the minister, the physician. They go upstairs, find 6 more bodies. So you got 8 total, 6 kids, 2 adults. Everyone's in bed. Bodies are covered. Faces are covered with sheets. The axe is left right here. Raw bacon on the floor in that room. Food at the table where this person ate a meal afterwards.
Their guide takes them through the full story. 8 bodies, everyone tucked into bed, faces covered, the axe left right where it had been used. 5 years of investigation and not a single conviction.
Crazy.
Yeah, he was for sure schizophrenic. Right after that, the bank offered 6 months free rent for whoever would move in.
Oh.
John Geisman's the first. Stayed one night in the house, slept in the barn for 10 years. Left his wife and kids in here. He wanted nothing to do with it.
Wow, jeez.
Homer Rittner and his wife stayed 2 nights in this room. They left claiming to hear footsteps and said the wife saw a silhouette holding an axe, which goes back to this Reverend Kelly thing.
What?
30s and 40s, they were doing seances in here to find the killer, which that's always an awesome idea.
Yeah.
In the 60s, a family moved in and said, nobody in town told them what happened here whatsoever. They lived here a year, claimed tons of stuff. They did the big cliche, leave in the middle of the night, left half their stuff here.
Really? And nobody told them?
Nobody
This
told
obviously before realtors would ever say anything like that.
Yeah. I come in to clean one day, and I walk in that kitchen. I hear somebody walk across the upstairs, shut a dresser drawer. I'm just like, who's this? Like, nobody's supposed to be in here. When I moved to this town, the cop quit. The only cop in town just quit.
Wow.
So I'm just sitting in there, and this is all going through my head in like 30 seconds. Like, what do I do? Like,
And you know it's footsteps, like you
yeah. And I noticed the dresser because it goes when you shut it. I go up there, nothing. Go straight to the bar after work, and the guys are doing the houses make noise.
Yeah.
Like, fully aware of what it.
The guide then goes into what the house has done to visitors over the years, a family that packed up and fled in the dead of night, and then the man who stabbed himself during a 2014 investigation, deliberately provoking whatever presence lingered there. He came to in the emergency room with a hunting knife buried in his chest. His parting advice before they were left alone: if anyone starts acting strange, get outside immediately.
During the summer. What the f was that? What happened?
There's no chance I was the only person that heard that. No chance.
What was it?
I don't know.
Everyone else is upstairs over here.
Wait. So we get a light. What happened? What just happened?
You didn't hear that?
No.
Like something big fell over in that room as soon as we walked out.
Wait, someone get a flashlight. We can light.
I don't have any.
Has our only light.
Evan, light it up.
Oh, a picture fell. Yo, look. Oh, their names.
Their names. It went off the wall.
Is that their names or no?
Yes. It fell off the wall.
That was right
It
here.
was right there on the dresser. That was one of the first things we saw.
Oh Oh, sick.
I would say in the 20 years I've been here, I've never seen that thing just fall, ever.
I'm glad you're here on this one. This is gonna be.
I don't think we've ever gotten like paranormal activity.
They are still mid-tour when a framed picture slides off the dresser in the room where the guests' bodies were found. The guide says in his 20 years of doing this, that has never once happened. It's only 7 p.m. The actual investigation hasn't even begun.
God, dude, it is so scary.
Go ahead. Is there anyone in here with the... Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, heck yeah. Oh. Can you do that again to show us that you're in here with us? Are you standing behind us now? Come on, you already made it go off and you're already talking to us. You don't have to be scared. Yeah. Thank you. Oh. Are you a little kid? Okay.
There's no answer.
Are you an adult? If you're an adult, can you make this go off again? That's the only way that you can answer. We're not able to hear you, but I know that you can hear us.
Let's think about it though, because if he was here, he would be hiding, right? And if he's hiding,
Who just knocked?
They move into the children's room, and the K2 meter lights up straight away. Then something strikes one of their feet from underneath, and there is nobody below them.
because it would kill people.
That's interesting. Going on these back. Whoa! Oh! I heard like a little girl scream.
Are you the one who was asking for help earlier?
What, babe? Fall asleep? Yeah. I just heard, are you rolling? And then Evan. That's what I say to Evan all the time.
Yes, I am rolling.
Now they're in the attic, the precise location where the killer is thought to have concealed himself while waiting for the family to return home. The moment they ask whether the Moore family is present with them, the dowsing rods begin to respond.
Stuck in this house with you. Cross them for yes, make them go outwards for no. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like a footstep?
There was some sort of a noise.
Anything happen?
I think we heard like a stomp on the floor.
We heard
Yeah,
the same
we heard
thing.
that too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that we heard the noise, we talked about it, and then you guys talked. We could hear you talking about something.
And we heard you go. Is there someone downstairs? Make the rods.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you guys must have heard the exact same thing we did. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means it's pretty loud for you guys to have heard it too.
Yeah, definitely.
I asked where the killer would be, and it pointed towards the attic.
Sick.
Yeah, just go.
Did that just turn on by itself?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm close enough to it?
Because the chair would be there unless you move.
I mean,
the chair.
unless you kick the chair.
If you kick the chair.
would be moving.
The screen door closed. Yeah, told when.
Yes, it was an executions rock all over again.
Oh my god!
You saw that with me.
I was so unhappy the whole way through.
Look at my hand. I'm like, what?
I didn't see anything, but I heard everybody go, whoa. My jaw dropped for a second until everyone...
The rods continue rotating on their own in a way that defies any rational explanation. Then, from somewhere beneath them, footsteps. Both groups register it at the exact same moment from separate areas of the house. They lock eyes with each other. The rods swing and point directly toward the section of wall that still bears the axe mark. Then a scream cuts through the building, and no one can pinpoint where it originated. By 4 a.m., the heating is given out entirely. They are gone before the sun comes up. Carrie Outdoors is a content creator with a deep love for the outdoors, frequently heading out to camp across various forests and locations. She often does car camping, but pitching a tent is something she genuinely enjoys too, since it brings her that much closer to nature. In this particular video, she chose to return to a stretch of woods she'd visited before, except this time, the whole atmosphere felt far more unsettling than she remembered. So here's where things stand.
camped here before quite a few times, and I always think it's a good idea if I'm going out and it's like late in the day and the light's against me, if I'm heading somewhere familiar, it just gives me peace of mind that I'm definitely going to find somewhere for the tent. I know exactly the route in, exactly where I'm heading, so it just makes it a lot easier. Tonight,
she got to work setting up her campsite, and before long, night had completely fallen. She positioned the camera to grab a few shots, and right at that moment, something rang out through the trees.
past 7, so it's less than an hour. I don't know if my camera picked that up, but that was, I don't know what that was, but that was scary. I think it's a deer or something in the woods. That was quite scary. Yeah, it's literally 20 past 7 now, and as you can see, it's really dark already. So less than an hour from when I arrived, and I've already lost daylight, so it's pretty dark in the woods. But the tent is up. I'm out in the Banshee tonight. I haven't used this since I got it, so I'm really excited to sleep in this because I love this tent, and I've slept in one before.
She tried to shake it off, telling herself it was probably just a deer passing through, but standing out there alone in the pitch black, the noises just kept coming, and they started getting inside her head, her mind running through every possible explanation. Yeah.
There's some really strange noises going on in the woods tonight. Like, and even though the rational part of your brain is saying, oh, it's the deer, it really does set like your anxiety off. Sorry, you can't really see me, it's so dark. Obviously I'm relying on the head torch, but I've heard some really, really crazy noises which I've tried to pick up on camera for you guys. And there's one thing being rational about it and being logical about it, and there's another thing being in the middle of the woods in the dark and hearing it. It's a totally different experience, I'm not gonna lie. The spot where I'm camped has got a really nice little stream running alongside it. Can you hear that? Is my camera picking that up? Can you hear that? I mean, what is it so angry about? Like, what are you chatting about, dude? And why? Why today? It's crazy because whether I was here or not, those noises would be going on. But it's really, I know I've said this earlier on in my video, but it's really hard to hear stuff like that and think rationally. Like, I know what it is. Logic is like, I know what it is. But at the same time, it sounds so creepy. It's gone quiet now. You see, it's really hard not to overthink everything when you're out. Like, you hear little noises that normally you probably, if you was with a big group of people or you hear during the day, you wouldn't even acknowledge those noises. They'd just be, you know, but when you're just sat here, look how dark it is, you know? I'm looking into like pure darkness of a woods, and then you hear noises, you're like, what was that? What was that? Like, constantly.
There is absolutely no way I would have stayed put after hearing that. Judge me however you like, but I am not spending the night in the woods with what sounds like a prehistoric creature lurking around out there. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what animal makes a sound like that. And no, I'm not about to throw the word Bigfoot around, but being out there solo in the dead of night does not exactly keep your imagination in check. Despite those sounds carrying on throughout the entire night, she held her ground and stayed until morning. Thankfully, she walked away completely unharmed, but had it been almost anyone else out there alone, that experience would have absolutely terrified them. Annabelle is a 30-year-old content creator from France who travels the country in her van alongside her cat, documenting van life, her journeys, and the peaceful corners of the world she discovers along the way. Her channel typically has a gentle, unhurried energy, simple daily routines, charming villages, walks through the woods, and the kind of freedom that comes with life on the road. But this particular video carried a different feeling entirely. For the first time, her van stopped feeling like a cozy refuge and started feeling vulnerable. She had pulled over in a quiet spot and set off on a forest trail leading toward a nearby village. Nothing about the start of the day seemed off. It had all the makings of a typical easygoing outing, a short hike, a stroll through the village, some editing back at the van.
Bon, estomac. Bon bah là c'est très mauvais signe. Il commence à pleuvoir, alors c'est quelques gouttes. J'espère juste qu'il va pas pleuvoir de ouf. Vous imaginez quand même, ça fait 2 heures que je vous vante les mérites de ce village. Je vous dis, c'est vraiment incroyable. Vous devez voir ça de vos propres yeux. Je vais vous y emmener, je vais vous montrer. Puis une fois arrivé là-bas, bon bah je vais ranger la caméra parce qu'il pleut. Google est votre ami, regardez des photos.
And that would be that. She wandered through the village for a while, and everything appeared perfectly fine. It was a lovely, tranquil place, and there was no reason to think the day would take an uncomfortable turn. But after she made her way back to the van and got settled in front of her laptop, a man knocked on her door.
Il était attaché avec sa longe, même à l'intérieur, parce qu'il y a des chevaux dehors et j'ai peur qu'à tout moment il sorte. Normalement il attend mon autorisation, mais avec lui on ne sait jamais. Et donc Koda était ici et en fait il y a le gars de la voiture sans permis qui arrive jusqu'ici. Koda il sort, normalement il a pas le droit sans mon autorisation, mais bref il sort. Il aboie pas après ce type, il fait rien de spécial. Donc je ramène Koda et puis le gars il me dit est-ce que vous auriez l'heure? Bon, je lui dis quand même l'heure qu'il est, donc 19h. Et en fait, je sais pas, du coup, depuis, il est dans sa voiture et puis il me regarde. Je comprends pas trop. Je sais pas s'il voulait vraiment l'heure. Est-ce que c'est une technique de drague? Est-ce que c'est pour venir regarder dans le camping-car? Du coup, moi, j'étais en train de faire ici mon petit montage. ELF sans alcool 00 toujours. Et ouais, je sais pas, depuis tout à l'heure, j'ai l'impression qu'il me regarde par la fenêtre et tout. Parce qu'en plus, on me voit étant donné que je n'ai pas fermé mes rideaux. Je sais pas, c'est un peu bizarre. J'aurais bien voulu passer une deuxième nuit ici, hein, si possible, et même de retourner faire un tour du lac, parce que c'est un grand lac de 9 km qu'on a fait tout à l'heure, et j'ai bien aimé, donc j'aimerais bien refaire une fois le tour. Et lui aussi, je pense qu'il aimerait bien refaire une fois le tour. Le truc, c'est que je suis pas trop à l'aise de laisser le camping-car ici, parce que je me dis, ça se trouve, le gars, il est un peu louche.
The man's car was apparently missing its license plate, which immediately gave the whole encounter an uneasy edge. He walked up and asked her what time it was. In isolation, that sounds completely innocent, but when you are a woman alone in a van parked beside a forest, even the smallest interaction lands differently. Your mind starts working through the questions: why did he come over? Why did he pick your vehicle? Is he just being friendly, or is he quietly figuring out how isolated you are? Annabelle tried to shake it off and get on with her afternoon, but that uneasy feeling stuck around. A little while later, she headed out for a walk with her dog, and that was when things got genuinely unsettling. The same man showed up again, and at that point, it was nearly impossible to write it off as coincidence.
Parti faire le tour du lac. Le gars était plus dans sa voiture sans permis. Et en fait, je m'aperçois qu'il est en train de me suivre dans les bois, quoi. C'est ultra rassurant. Donc j'ai ma petite bombe au poivre dans la main, au cas où il faut intervenir. Comme Koda n'a pas trop réagi tout à l'heure quand le gars est venu pour me demander l'heure à ma porte. Et je sais pas, attendez. Je vais essayer de me retourner discrètement. Bon, je viens de regarder et en fait, le type, je vois sa tête dépasser en mode, il est en train de regarder si... là, on va pas le voir parce qu'il est caché derrière. Juste là. Et en fait, il passe sa tête en mode, est-ce qu'elle avance ou est-ce qu'elle avance pas? Je joue un truc comme ça m'est jamais arrivé jusqu'à maintenant. Je suis tombée sur des types louches, mais là, on est quand même à un stade où déjà le gars, ça faisait 1 heure qu'il était sur le parquet. Voilà, là, il passe sa tête en mode, il regarde si j'avance ou si j'avance pas. Et là, il me fixe. Je le vois là. Là, il est en train de faire le balancier avec sa tête en mode, il regarde. Attendez, je vais faire marche arrière, on va voir. Viens ici. Il y a un problème depuis tout à l'heure, monsieur?
Non, mais moi, je connais comment. J'habite ici.
D'accord, non, mais parce que j'ai l'impression que vous me suivez un petit peu, non? C'est moi qui me trompe?
Pas du tout, madame.
Ouais.
Non, pas du tout.
Non, parce que j'ai l'impression que là, depuis tout à l'heure, je suis là et vous me regardez là.
Non, je vois les pêcheurs et tout, moi je viens avec les pêcheurs. Non, il n'y a pas du tout de problème.
Ouais, oui.
Ne vous inquiétez pas.
D'accord, très bien. Bonne soirée.
Si les pêcheurs, je viens tous les soirs et c'est pareil.
D'accord, oui.
Non, mais j'ai rien avec vous.
Allez, bien.
Je m'envoie qui à côté de c'est pareil.
Bon, du coup, voilà, bon, j'y suis allée au culot, tant pis, mais bon, moi, je devais savoir s'il y avait un problème ou pas, parce que, enfin, c'est juste à moitié bizarre, quoi. Le gars, je sais pas si vous avez réussi à bien entendre, mais qui dit, ah oui, non, je viens voir s'il n'y a pas des amis pêcheurs, tout ça. Déjà, s'il est d'ici et qu'il a des amis pêcheurs, bah, il doit déjà bien voir les voitures qui sont. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a mon camping-car et une seule voiture, qui appartient à une famille qui est venue promener son chien. Donc, voilà. Et fait bizarre, c'est pourquoi est-ce que... quand je m'arrête, il est là plus loin derrière les fourrés en train de s'arrêter, en train de m'épier et d'avancer un peu au même rythme que moi. Faut arrêter de me prendre un peu pour une conne. Donc il me dit non, vous n'avez pas à vous inquiéter, tout ça.
He had already made his way to her van and initiated contact, and now here he was again, appearing as she moved away from the parking area and into a quieter stretch of trail. He even crouched down to pet her dog, which might have looked perfectly ordinary to a passerby, but for Annabelle, every instinct was telling her something was wrong. That is exactly what made it so deeply uncomfortable. There was no single alarming act, it was the accumulation. He approached her first, then lingered nearby, then materialized again the moment she stepped away from the van and into a more secluded area. Perhaps he was trying to strike up a flirtation. Perhaps he was simply someone with poor social awareness. But when a person is alone, far from anyone who could help, and already on edge, the question of what someone intended matters far less than the reality of feeling unsafe. Annabelle eventually called him out on it, and he played dumb, acting as though he had no idea what she was talking about. By that point, though, the harm was already done. For someone whose entire life is built around the road, the van is not just a mode of transport. It is a bedroom, an office, a sanctuary, the one space that is supposed to belong entirely to you. And in that moment, Annabelle was sharply reminded that even the most serene and beautiful setting can be shattered by the behavior of one stranger. On March 10th, 2017, a creator known as Exploring with Yayati posted unsettling footage from the day he ventured into an abandoned building somewhere in his home country of India. During that outing, Yayati checked out 3 separate houses. The first 2 were empty and unremarkable, but the third one left a lasting impression for all the wrong reasons.
Is used for such things. I mean, the robbers are actively using this place. I mean, look at this. This also has a handprint. This looks like a kitchen. Looks like there was a birthday party carried out here. यहाँ पे डेकोरेशन का भी सामान है.
Once he made his way into the garage area, he came across further evidence of satanic rituals having taken place there.
So guys, we're gonna go and explore the garage area. This looks very strong. Oh my god. Kunal, you need to come and check this. Oh my god. Well, look at this. There's written 666 out here. You don't know what is this? This circle and star? No. This circle and star represents devil worshipping. People are worshipping the devil out here.
That was all Yayati and his companions needed to see. They pulled themselves together and got off the property shortly after making that second disturbing find. 2 perfectly ordinary vacant houses, followed by 1 packed with ritual markings. That's a combination that doesn't sit right. Whoever was carrying out those rituals in that third house clearly wanted to be flanked by properties that drew zero attention. It was deliberate cover. Anyone walking down that street would have had no reason to look twice. Yayati just happened to wander into the one property on that block, hiding something deeply wrong, and he uncovered exactly what someone had gone to great lengths to conceal. This next explorer had a habit of walking past a certain abandoned house in his own neighborhood. Eventually, the curiosity became too much to ignore, and he headed inside one night with his camera rolling.
Daytime wasn't scary enough. So yeah. This place, real sketchy. I hate it.
Then, in the darkness, something caught his eye buried within a heap of trash, and whatever it was sent him sprinting out of there as fast as his legs would carry him.
Holy something in there. Something moving around up there. Holy.
There's a particular kind of confidence that comes with entering a place you've seen 100 times before. You assume familiarity means safety. This explorer had that confidence right up until the moment it completely collapsed. Whatever he spotted in that pile of debris rewired his thinking on the spot, and the choice to bolt rather than investigate further was without question the right call. A pair of campers spending the night in a Colorado mountain cabin heard something moving around on top of the roof. They stepped outside to investigate, and what they spotted left them completely stumped. The creature had animal qualities, sure, but something about it just didn't add up. A few people have suggested it might be a wolverine or some other local wildlife caught from an odd vantage point, but others say it bears a striking resemblance to dogman encounters that have been documented across various parts of the country. So was this nothing more than a familiar animal in an unfamiliar position, or did these two campers stumble across something that science hasn't put a name to yet? Mountain biker tears along a wooden trail, GoPro mounted to his helmet, when an enormous grizzly bear suddenly explodes into frame right behind him. The animal thunders down the path at full tilt, eating up the gap while the rider hammers the pedals in desperation. And the first time you see it, the experience is genuinely terrifying, because the camera angle drops you straight into the rider's perspective. You can hear the frantic edge in his breathing, feel the trail rattling through the handlebars, and catch every desperate look over his shoulder as this massive creature tears through the trees behind him. Even if a part of you suspects something is off, your nervous system fires like the threat is completely real. That gut reaction is almost certainly why the video detonated across the internet. It racked up millions of views because it reaches into one of the deepest fears wired into us as a species, being hunted. And what makes bears so particularly unsettling is that they defy people's expectations of how they move. Most folks picture them as lumbering, heavy, almost clumsy, right up until they see one at full sprint. Then it hits you. An animal that can tip the scales at close to 1,000 pounds is capable of outpacing most vehicles in a school zone. Grizzlies can reportedly hit speeds of around 40 miles per hour, which means if one genuinely locks onto you, there's no version of events where you outrun it. Not on foot, and honestly not on a bike either. The math simply does not work in your favor, which is exactly why wildlife professionals started raising eyebrows at the footage almost immediately. The rider's behavior didn't add up. Rather than halting, holding his ground, or carefully creating space between himself and the animal, he just keeps cranking the pedals while the bear pursues him like something ripped straight from an action sequence. Bear specialists were quick to point out that this is arguably the single worst instinct you could follow in a genuine encounter. Fleeing and turning your back on the animal can activate a predatory response, essentially signaling to the bear that you are prey rather than a potential threat. That realization sent the internet into full detective mode. Reddit threads emerged, with users dissecting the clip one frame at a time. The bear's movement struck some viewers as slightly off. The lighting felt inconsistent in places. A growing number of people became convinced the whole thing had been assembled with CGI rather than captured in an actual forest. And honestly, I find that possibility makes the clip even more fascinating, because real or not, the fear millions of people felt while watching it was completely genuine. And naturally, the rider does eventually manage to shake the bear at some point. The comment sections tell the whole story. Thousands of people projecting themselves into that scenario. What would you actually do? Keep pedaling, lock up completely, wipe out, scramble up a tree, even though grizzlies can climb too? The clip is effective because it hijacks your survival instincts almost the second it starts playing. But buried beneath all the online debate was something genuinely worth knowing. Real bear experts stepped in to explain what you should actually do if you come face to face with a grizzly in the wild. And the guidance runs completely against every instinct you have. Don't run, don't yell, don't bolt in the opposite direction. Instead, specialists recommend slowly retreating while making your body appear as large as possible, speaking in a steady, calm voice so the animal registers you as a human rather than something to chase. Then hope for the best. Some experts even suggest using a bicycle as a physical barrier between you and the bear, all while deliberately avoiding direct eye contact. It sounds almost laughably difficult to pull off when you're standing a few feet from something capable of ending you in moments. But the reality, according to those same experts, is that most grizzlies would genuinely rather not interact with people at all. A large share of dangerous encounters happen simply because the animal was caught off guard. That detail, honestly, is the one that stuck with me the most. Quiet trail, a solo backpacking trip, and a few days away from the grind of constant travel. That's all she was after when she posted a video on March 30th, 2025, to her YouTube channel, Nomad Unknown. Her followers have come to know her for her grounded, unfiltered approach to life on the road. Slow mornings in her SUV, no-frills camp setups, long drives narrated by her own thoughts, and the honest reality of what it means to live out of a vehicle full-time. But this particular trip into the wilderness, intended as a mental reset, took a turn she never saw coming. After months behind the wheel, she'd chosen to leave the car behind for a while and disappear into the backcountry on foot. The goal was simple: decompress, slow her pace, and find some stillness in an isolated natural setting. For a while, it seemed like exactly that. The trees were still, the path ahead was deserted, and nothing in the air hinted at anything unusual. Near the start of the trail, she did take note of a man nearby, though at the time he didn't trigger any real alarm. But as she pushed further in, that same individual kept showing up at various points along her path.
The next time I saw him, he was at a crossroads, and it looked like he was loading things into his car to leave. But I guess he was pulling a backpack out, because even though I didn't say anything to him at that point, I literally just got across this bridge that's behind me, and it was filming some of the wild azaleas. And
every encounter felt a little harder to dismiss. At one point, he carried almost nothing, just a water bottle, and then later he reappeared with a full backpack she hadn't seen on him before. There was no confrontation, no direct threat, but the pattern alone was enough to make her skin crawl. She pressed on regardless, yet as she began scouting for a place to pitch her tent, the unease refused to leave her. Something about the spot felt wrong, and she started scanning her environment more carefully. That's when she caught sight of something deliberately concealed among the trees.
you can see that. And then the backpack's right there. I was thinking I was going to camp over there, but I looked over and I saw this area here, the clearing, and I thought, you know what, that's a bit more hidden from trail. I might feel more comfortable and secure over there, so I came over. Why is there a trail cam pointing to that campsite? I don't really know how those things work. Maybe it's not visible on the camera, but like, what else is it pointing at? Okay.
A trail camera. It was nearly invisible at first glance, but once her eyes locked onto it, she could see it was positioned to capture the exact area she'd been eyeing for camp. In an instant, the forest shed any sense of calm and felt wide open and exposed. She didn't second guess herself. She packed up and walked out. On her way back down, she stopped to talk with other hikers and describe what she'd come across. Their responses confirmed what she already suspected. Something like that had no business being there. By the time she reached her car, the unease had settled in and wouldn't shake loose. She went on to report the camera to the authorities, but no real answers ever came back. No explanation for who left it there or why it was trained on that particular spot. Nothing was ever resolved. Just unanswered questions and the lingering feeling of having been watched somewhere that was supposed to feel like an escape. Nicholas Paparo runs a channel built around a refreshingly simple premise. No gimmicks, no theatrics, just a man, his dog, and a genuine connection to the outdoors. His content tends to drift toward remote fishing holes, solo nights under the stars, and stretches of untouched wilderness that serve as a quiet reminder of what's out there waiting if you're willing to go looking for it. But this particular outing would carry a different kind of weight. Not the weight of gear or distance, but something harder to name. A presence that didn't announce itself with sound, but crept in through a slow, almost imperceptible change in the air, invisible and yet impossible to dismiss. Nicholas heads out alone to fish and camp alongside a river, expecting little more than a peaceful stretch of time with his dog and the natural rhythm of the landscape around him. What he gets instead is something he didn't pack for, a tension that builds without any obvious trigger, quietly and steadily, until it forces the kind of choice no solo camper wants to be standing at. Hold your ground and see what happens, or trust your instincts and go.
Lola, come here.
Nicholas is posted up at the water's edge. The light has gone warm and low, scattering gold across the current. It looks, sounds, and feels like a perfectly ordinary evening. Calm, unhurried, unremarkable. Then something breaks that calm. Across the river, just at the tree line, two figures appear, still, distant. Watching the atmosphere shifts in a way that has nothing to do with the weather. Something is off, and it registers immediately.
How's it going?
They don't call out, no gesture, no acknowledgement, just a fixed, wordless stare, as though they're studying him the way you'd study something that doesn't yet know it's being observed. The moment itself is short-lived, but what it leaves behind is not. A quiet unease takes root, and it doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles in slowly, like a chill that builds before you realize you're cold.
Come here. Come here.
The longer those two figures hold their position, the harder it becomes to shake the feeling that something is genuinely wrong. It's not a screaming red flag, it's more like a low, persistent signal. A warning delivered in body language and silence rather than words. Nicholas feels it somewhere deep, the kind of knowing that bypasses logic and speaks directly to instinct. This situation has the potential to go somewhere he doesn't want to follow it. He makes his call without a word. No standoff, no back and forth. Just a clean, quiet choice to go. He'd come fully prepared. Food, shelter, everything needed for a comfortable night out. But readiness for the elements doesn't do much against a feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with where you are. Nicholas trusts that feeling and walks, because not every danger makes itself known with noise. Some of them arrive as a stillness that sits just a little too heavy, as a gaze that holds just a little too long, as a gut signal that, if you choose to ignore it, might be the one you end up wishing you hadn't. Some spots ease you out with nothing more than a glance, others welcome you in just long enough for the dread to find its footing. From Creepy Outdoors is a YouTuber who has built his entire channel around exploring paranormal and unsettling locations in nature, no matter the season. From spending nights alone in reputedly haunted woodland to poking around long-abandoned sites, Noah has never shied away from venturing where most people wouldn't dare. But on this particular October night in 2022, he was about to encounter something that would rattle him to his very foundation. He had pitched his camp deep inside what he would eventually call Dead Forest, and once you see it, the name will make complete sense. Noah set out on his nighttime walk through this bleak stretch of woodland, and from the very first steps, the place felt deeply wrong.
Here is dead. Or dying. Damn, so many dead trees. I think I'm gonna name this one Dead Forest. Dead Forest indeed. Dead quiet here as well. No life. Let's see how this place looks like without any lights. Pitch black. Imagine being out here, lost in the forest. At this point, the best thing you can do is just hold up against a tree and just wait for the morning. What else could you do in this darkness? It's also easy to imagine all kinds of things out here. This is one of the creepiest forests I've ever been.
Any forest after dark can put you on edge, but this location was something else entirely. Skeletal trees in every direction, gnarled branches ready to catch your feet with every stride, and that oppressive, suffocating quiet that makes you painfully conscious of every sound you produce. The further he pushed into the trees, the more Noah found himself getting serious Blair Witch Project energy.
I'm not sure if you guys ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but damn, this is just giving me Blair Witch Project vibes. Super cool. Wow. This is awesome.
Then, as he pressed even deeper into the heart of the dead forest, a single moment shifted the entire atmosphere of his outing.
Man, this place is so lonely. Imagine just being lost out here. It feels like this would never end. Oh, fuck. Oh, hi. What the hell? I need to get out of here. Oh, boy. That was fucking creepy.
The instant Noah killed his flashlight for the second time, You can make out a clear and distinct voice cutting through the darkness, a child's voice drifting through those dead trees, and it sounds unmistakably like the words, "I see you." Now, I know some of you are already thinking it could have been fellow campers nearby, but here's the thing. This area was extraordinarily remote and cut off from the outside world. The chances of another person wandering that isolated stretch of forest in the middle of the night are incredibly low. And when you factor in the haunting quality of that voice against the total seclusion of the surroundings, well, draw your own conclusions.
Could have been campers, but this area is extremely secluded. Okay, it's extremely important now that I don't get lost. Disoriented? Yes. Lost? No. I should be fine. Well, if that is not the definition of creepy, then I don't know what it means. I was literally just talking about Witchbilly Project. And then the creepiest, and I mean the creepiest fucking voice of what I would imagine a witch to sound like.
What makes this whole thing even harder to shake is that Noah is not someone who frightens easily. This is a man who routinely spends nights alone in locations with genuinely dark reputations. Yet whatever was out there in that forest was enough to get under his skin in a serious way. After what must have felt like an endless trudge through the darkness, Noah finally caught sight of his campfire and made it back to camp. So what do you think was lurking out there in Dead Forest? The fact that the voice showed up at the exact moment Noah switched off his light is either one extraordinary coincidence or something far more chilling. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you've ever heard something unexplained while out in the wilderness, I'd really love to hear your. Beast Runners is a YouTube channel focused on hiking content, where the creator documents peaceful and uplifting outdoor journeys. On this particular occasion, though, he had a very different mission, heading out onto the trails to search for a hiker who had been missing for 5 days, leaving loved ones desperate for answers. The missing hiker had left behind a trail of clues before his disappearance, including CCTV footage of him entering a mountain path and an Instagram story featuring the same trailhead, which gave Beast Runners enough to go on as he retraced those steps.
Sheriff!
He reached a creek that he believed could be the key location in the search, but the moment he arrived, something caught his eye that stopped him cold.
Wow.
It was the missing hiker, but tragically he had already passed away. Beast Runners secured the body to keep it from being carried off by the current, then constructed a signal fire to guide any rescue helicopter to his position. He reached out to the authorities, but a helicopter couldn't be dispatched until the following day. When it finally arrived, the hiker was brought back to the family who had been holding out hope for any word at all. It's a sobering thought that without Beast Runners making that discovery, those answers might have taken far longer to come, or never come at all. This story is a powerful reminder of just how much difference someone like Beast Runners can make. Mind behind the YouTube channel, Exploding with Bear, has built a following around solo camping excursions and explorations of abandoned, supposedly haunted places. His footage tends to deliver raw, unscripted run-ins with whatever strange forces seem to inhabit the wilderness. Then on September 8th, 2025, he chose to go back to a forest he had visited once before, a place with a reputation darkened.
Back to another camping adventure. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jared Bear. I have brought you guys back to the forest where psychopaths attack and Bigfoot presence is heavy. Now there's people out in the woods here sometimes. My tent has been attacked. There's been a cinder block thrown on the tent. I wasn't in it, thankfully. You guys have seen multiple eyes shine all around. You've spotted Bigfoot. You've spotted Dogman.
Enough to rattle even the most experienced outdoorsman. According to Bear, this was far more than a casual overnight trip. He was going back to a stretch of woodland, notorious for disturbing cryptid encounters and suspicious human presence. During his previous visit, something had torn through his campsite in the middle of the night. This time, he came back with a mission, to figure out what had really been out there, or at the very least, what was still hiding among those trees. Barefoot.
First, let's go down and check the lake bed, see if we can't see any tracks. And we can see good now, it's daylight. So last time, I left a peanut butter treat, because you guys were commenting on how that's one of Bigfoot's favorites.
He checked around the so-called offering tree where he had previously left a peanut butter snack, reportedly a known favorite of Bigfoot, at least according to his audience. Nothing had been touched. He then made his way toward the lake, eyes scanning the ground for unusual tracks or any indication of recent movement.
It's time to get back to camp. We'll get our fire going because I really want to get this dinner started because I know the aroma is definitely going to chum in some stuff. No doubt about it. So yeah, dinner time. Yeah, so what I'm going to be cooking up is going to be way better than whatever we could have put on the offering tree. Yeah, it's starting to get darker. It's getting darker earlier too. A lot earlier now. It might be like 8 o'clock or so. So we are running out of daylight a little quicker than we were a couple months ago for sure. Whoa! Watch where you're walking. So there seems to be like a lot of action happens right in this area and back there. Like all these eyes was approaching me one night. That was scary. I felt like I was being a little hunted.
He came up empty. He was counting on the powerful scent to draw the attention of whatever might be prowling those woods after dark, whether that was a cryptid, a Bigfoot, or something else entirely. Once he reached his campsite, he got a fire going, and as he began cooking his steak, something deeply unsettling broke the stillness of the night without any warning.
Ooh. What was that? What? Did I just see... I swear I just seen something moving down there. Oh man, this place gets so creepy at night, man. I'm getting nervous. But it did look like I seen something move. Because the lake, the light behind it. Like it was on the other side of the hill, but I could see it moving. There's a voice. I can hear the sizzle.
Mid-cook, Bear's focus was suddenly yanked toward a strange sound bleeding out from the tree line. Almost immediately, he caught a glimpse of a dark shape slipping between the trees, followed by yet another unidentifiable noise. A heavy, suffocating dread began to settle over everything.
Someone's just walking over there. Oh, hold on. Shh. What is it? Where's that coming from?
there's a bang. But it sounded like something walking so close. I think I see an X back there. An X. Look at that X. Crap, freaking smoke, man. I'm hearing stuff now. All around. There's just something over there. But look, an X, and I heard something walking right there. And there was a bang from further back.
He picked up the distinct sound of something moving through the nearby trees, then a sudden, jarring bang cut through the silence. Unease crept over him, though he tried to shake it off, chalking it up to local wildlife, and turned his attention back to the stake on the fire.
Hear the sizzle? Handy dandy. Alright, now we gotta take this off the fire. I'm just... We'll let it sit there for a minute. Let that cool for just a minute. That's gonna be chumming him. That'll be chumming him. Oh! That was a rock clink. Person or a Bigfoot. Just smacked something right over there. Oh, something's moving right there. Stinking train. I don't know. Oh, now there's movement. A rock clanking movement. Man, a freaking train. This is a terrible time. It's too loud. Oh. What was that? Oh my goodness. Every hair on my body's standing straight up right now. Where's the flashlight?
A sharp crack of two stones rang out from somewhere deep in the woods, a sound widely associated with cryptids communicating across distances. The moment it echoed out, that already nagging feeling of being observed pressed in on him with renewed intensity.
All right. Get your nerves back. Oh no. Was that my light that did that? I don't think so. I think something's moving back there. Oh, I see eyes. There's eyes. Where'd they go? We got eye shot. There was a howl just a minute ago. I didn't say none at first. My hair's standing straight up, man. That was like a howl.
Then, without warning, two glowing eyes locked onto him from out of the blackness. The light would disappear, then blink back into existence at a different spot, as though whatever owned them was gliding noiselessly from tree to tree. Not long after, a deep, mournful howl rolled through the forest, and that's when the realization fully hit him. Something was out there in the dark, and it had its eyes fixed on him. Gripped by fear, he retreated into his tent, but the unsettling sounds kept pressing closer through the night.
Might be able to take this hoodie off. Now that we're in the tent. That was a clack. That was a clack. What was that? That was a clack. That sounded like it could have been by that bent tree.
The stone clack came again, sharp, intentional. This time Bear decided he had to go and look, but the second he stepped outside, another strange, sourceless sound rose up from the darkness, drifting through the trees as if it had no single point of origin, yet somehow surrounded him completely.
What was that? Was that a call? Oh man, my hair's standing straight up. I bet you guys heard that too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I just seen a flashlight out in the woods. There is somebody down there. That was my whistle. That was my whistle. That was my whistle. There's just some kind of ground or something out there. That was my whistle. You guys heard that?
He spotted a beam of light cutting through the trees in the distance, too controlled, too purposeful to be any kind of reflection. Then a soft whistle floated through the air. Not the call of an animal, but something unmistakably human in quality, or something doing a convincing impression of one. Whatever was out there was making sure he knew it was nearby. Bear went rigid, every nerve in his body seizing up as the fear took hold. He remained inside his tent for hours, listening hard, waiting, hoping daylight would come. Then the footage cuts off without warning. The sensation of being completely surrounded, paired with that chilling whistle, had become unbearable. The first moment he felt it was safe enough, Bear broke camp and slipped away as quietly and swiftly as he could, rattled but relieved to walk away in one piece. He left that forest, carrying more questions than answers. Who or what had been lurking just beyond those trees? What had been producing those human-like whistles deep in the night? Was it a cryptid, something yet to be classified, or something far more sinister hiding in that forest? Whatever the answer, it's a mystery that will stay with him for the rest of his life. This clip comes from Man Dog Wild, a YouTube channel dedicated to outdoor exploration, camping, survival, and adventure, often with an eerie or paranormal twist. The channel follows a man and his faithful dog Yeti as they push deep into isolated wilderness, where strange and unsettling things have a way of finding them. The date is November 15th, 2024, and in this particular video, the creator is setting up camp in a secluded mountain location. Getting there is no easy feat. Steep inclines, crumbling rock, and thorny brush make every single step a battle. As he pushes through the brutal terrain, he takes a few hits along the way, even picking up some injuries, and starts to wonder whether any of this is actually worth it. But the physical hardship turns out to be the least of his worries. Once he and Yeti finally get settled in for the night, something begins closing in on their tent in the pitch black. The unmistakable sound
been pretty hard going day getting here and then trying to go to those caves or going to the caves and then for nothing. But yeah, I think we're both knackered out, so and that'll be it for us in the tent. We'll catch you guys in the morning.
of footsteps. Honestly, I'm not sure there's a more spine-chilling thing you could experience while camping alone than hearing something pacing around the outside of your tent.
Yeti, let's go. Go. Come on. Good girl, Yeti. Good girl. I heard footsteps from a person. No. I hear something coming from just down the hill. Something something coming from all the way down the hill down there. It sounds like water sloshing. I'm not gonna go and find out. Yeti's just sleeping. She's just sleeping. I mean, she's never like this. Every time I get out the tent, I go anywhere, she stays with me. She's sleeping. I don't know what's up with her today. Hey, Esther. Good girl. Good. In a way, Yeti's just a sense of calm, not being bothered. Kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it makes me feel better or it makes me feel worse. But, you know, I trust Yeti, so it's, I assume it's nothing.
Fortunately, whatever it was out there didn't come back, though the audio recording captured what clearly sounds like a person walking. Both he and Yeti survived the night without any direct encounter with whoever had been lurking just outside. Still, the question that lingers is, what was someone doing out there, circling his tent in the absolute middle of nowhere? Drop your theories down in the comments. Bearded Explorer is a YouTube channel focused on urban exploration, abandoned locations, and spine-chilling overnight visits. On October 28th, 2023, he decides to venture solo into the long-abandoned Royal Haslar Hospital. Once a naval medical facility with roots stretching back to the 1700s, the site carries a notorious reputation for its dark past, mass burial grounds, and reported paranormal activity. He's been here before, but nothing about those previous visits could have prepared him for what unfolds this time around. He starts by slipping through the basement to dodge security, who are said to be particularly aggressive about keeping unauthorized visitors away. He talks about how the hospital once served as a treatment center for wounded sailors, a great many of whom never walked out. Estimates suggest that more than 10,000 people may be buried in a mass grave on or near the grounds. That staggering weight of history hangs over every step he takes. As he pushes further in, making his way toward the gymnasium and MRI scanning rooms, Something stops him in his tracks before he even gets there.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to tonight's special Halloween video. Tonight I am on my own in the Haslar Hospital and we are going to be exploring all the creepy parts of this building. Now I had to sneak in through the basement tonight because the security are on the gate and they are absolutely 100% hot people coming in here now. So I had to be a little bit James Bond to get in here, but I'm in here. We're going to get up to the main entrance, go and check this place out and see what we can find. And there is a mass grave out there. 10,000 people buried in that area. Absolutely mind-blowing. Not sure which way to go. Okay, that was weird. That door has just closed. But there is absolutely no wind in here whatsoever. What the heck is that? Okay, that was really, really creepy. I've only been here literally 5 minutes and that's happened. Okay, I'm going to get out of this area because that was actually...
A door slams shut right behind him. He freezes on the spot. He's certain there's no draft moving through the building, so there's no obvious explanation for what just happened. He shakes it off and keeps going. Pressing deeper inside, he reaches the spiral staircase, a spot connected to one of the hospital's most haunting legends. A nurse named Mary is said to have taken her own life here following the death of a child under her care, and visitors have long claimed to see her apparition hovering near this very location. While he's filming, a curtain begins to sway with no open windows anywhere in sight.
Now the gymnasium's on the left, but before we go to the gymnasium I want to show you this little bit here. This is one of the only curtains which is left in the whole hospital and it's still hanging here today. And a creepy chair's still there too. There's always a creepy chair in a room like this, isn't there? God, look at the paint peel in here, it's unbelievable. There is actually a little bit of a breeze on those curtains, which is strange because there's no wind in here. This is where I've just walked past, but look at it, it's moving on its own. That's really bizarre because there's not even a window open here. Why is that curtain moving? Okay.
Heading down into the basement, he draws attention to something nobody would expect to find sitting in an abandoned building, an actual human liver. The organ has reportedly been in that same spot for years. Even as most of the hospital's historical contents have been cleared out, this one item has stayed behind. Then, rounding a corner, he's hit with a sudden sensation, the distinct physical feeling of walking straight into another person, except the space around him is completely vacant.
It's creepy in here. God, you just listen to the water outside. There's no wind today, but it is really, really raining hard out there now. Oh, there's always a creepy chair in the basement. Why? Why? Okay. So, while we're down here, I just want to show you one more thing before I go, while I'm in this area. Now, I have heard stories that it's not here anymore. If it's not here, I'm going to be quite upset. Fingers crossed. It is still here. So this, guys, is a real human liver. I know it's disgusting, but it is very, very rare. The sort of thing you'd only see in a museum. So I've made it back to the scanning rooms. And it's quite nice to see that everything is still here. A few of the bits have been moved around, but I'm pretty sure that's done by the builders, not by anyone else. Still crazy to think that all of this stuff is in here, all the paperwork. Oh my God, what the hell was that? It felt like I bumped into someone, but there's no one there. Whoa, okay, freak out. Whew, okay. There's nobody there. It felt like I bumped into someone, but there's nobody there.
The corridor stretches out empty in every direction. He tries to push the feeling aside, but the dread just keeps building. Making his way toward the operating rooms, he notes that much of the original medical equipment has been left exactly as it was, frozen in time, lending the whole place an almost suffocating eeriness. Then he picks up on something, the sound of footsteps. He initially tries to dismiss it, but when he stops moving entirely, the noise carries on without him. He is not the only one in this building.
That sounded like footsteps. That really sounded like footsteps. But that, what I'm doing now, that's exactly what I just heard. Okay, that was really, really creepy. That was really creepy. I'm sure I just heard that. Right, I'm getting out of this bit. That was really, really horrible. I'm absolutely crapping myself now, I really am. Okay guys, so we're now going to check the operating theatres. So we've got another, that's the same wall in there, that's where my mum was. Now I think the operating theatre is this one on the right here. Is it that one? Yes. Weird.
He works his way through each room, calling out to whoever might be there. Nothing answers back. Then, without warning, he catches what sounds like a soft voice, a child whispering somewhere nearby. The fear in him is unmistakable at this point. He tries to talk himself down. Maybe it's an animal, maybe the wind is playing tricks, but some part of him knows that explanation doesn't hold up. And then comes the single most terrifying moment of the entire night. I didn't.
Oh god, this is so scary, honestly, guys. If you've never tried this before, I urge you just to give it a go once. Just come to a place like this and just walk around it on your own at night. The adrenaline rush you get from it is phenomenal, it really is. But at the same time, it is very, very scary. My heart is racing 10 to the dozen at the moment. Right, I don't know if you heard that then, but that fucking, they're like, hello? This is absolute, there's no way I just heard that. I'm sorry I'm swearing, guys, but I do swear when I get scared. What the hell is this? Fucking hell, it sounded like a little girl. I don't know what it was, I don't know. It sounded like a little... Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck! Oh, what the fuck? No way, that has just happened. There is no way. That is... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell? What the hell? Right, you've just seen that with your own eyes. I have not touched that. There is nobody else here. What the fuck was that? How the hell did that happen? Okay.
Standing in a hallway, he's suddenly hit by what sounds like a thundering rush of footsteps, as though a crowd of people is charging directly toward him. The noise is massive, overwhelming, the kind of thing you simply cannot explain away. He whips around, expecting to find someone there, but the hallway is completely deserted. He completely loses it. There's no convincing himself that was in his head. He bolts, tearing through the building in a full panic, momentarily losing his bearings before finally finding his way to an exit.
It sounds like loads of people. What the f going on? There is no way that just happened. There's no way. There is no way that just happened. There's no one. There's no way anyone could have been in there. Okay, I am getting out of here. That. I'm gone. Oh god. I'm going.
Once he's outside, the toll it's taken on him is written all over his face. Catching his breath, he says outright that this ranks as the most frightening experience of his entire exploration career, and he makes one thing absolutely clear. He is never setting foot inside Haslar Hospital again. So was something lurking in those shadows, keeping a close eye on him the whole time. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. While out camping in the woods, one Reddit user came across something deeply unsettling. A man was caught on camera deliberately trying to ignite a fire in a West Kelowna residential area in British Columbia. Luckily, alert bystanders spotted him in the act, stepped in to put the flames out, and wasted no time contacting the authorities. RCMP took the suspect, 36-year-old Stephen Leader, into custody and hit him with arson charges. The footage of the incident has raised serious alarm, particularly considering how vulnerable the province already is to wildfires. Officers commended the fast action of everyone involved, acknowledging that their intervention likely stopped something catastrophic from unfolding. And with the destruction caused by the Los Angeles wildfires still so fresh in everyone's memory, it's hard not to sit with just how much worse the situation could have been.